Hello, let's continue our discussion. No, civil law na tayo, persons and family relations. Sa persons and family relations po, dun sa first few articles ng Civil Code, konti lang or wala ang itinatanong dyan. Konti or wala. Ang karamihan po ng tanong sa persons and family relations, mga around 5 to 6 questions to sa bar exam nyo. Normally, no, 5 to 6 questions to. Karamihan ng tanong dyan, nasa family code, no? Dito siguro sa simula, mga paisa-isa, dalawa, kung gusto kayong testingin nung examiner, pero normally talaga nasa marriage talaga lahat ng tanong. Anyway, let's start, no? So, Tanyada versus Tovera, alam na natin to, no? So, when does the law take effect? No, so it shall take effect 15 days following the completion of publication in the official gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation in the Philippines, unless it is otherwise provided. What does unless it is otherwise provided? It means yung 15-day period, pwedeng i-waive, pwedeng mawala. Pero yung fact of publication, yung requirement of publication, hindi siya pwedeng mawala. So, pwedeng ilagay po ng law, sabihin natin nagmamadali, like yung train law. Pwedeng ilagay, it shall be effective immediately upon the completion of the publication. Ganon. So, hindi na kailangan intayin yung 15-day period. Pag na-complete yung publication, effective na siya agad. That is allowed. Kasi it is provided by the law. Okay? And if ang isang law hindi po na-publish, wala pong effect yan. Kasi it would be violative of due process kapag naging siyang effective despite non-publication. Okay. So, right to due process na banggit ko na rito. Let's move to the next topic. Dito tayo sa retroactivity of laws. Alam na natin to, no? Actually, itong retroactivity of laws, mas madalas itong natatakil sa criminal law. Diba? Ang criminal law, isa, criminal law is prospective in nature. Diba? Ang opposite niyan is retroactive. So, sa criminal law, when when will criminal law have retroactive effect, di ba? If it is provided by the law or it is favorable to the accused, di ba? Dito po sa civil law, saan tayo usually matatanong? Sa decision po ng Supreme Court. So, ang tatanungin sa inyo, is the Supreme Court, are Supreme Court decisions retroactive in nature? O, ito po yung sagot, no? Ayan. The Supreme Court's interpretation of a law forms part of the said law as of the date it was originally passed. So in other words, in construing the law, the court merely declares what a particular provision has always meant. Okay, so sabihin natin yung law, it was enacted year 2000, nagkaroon ng declaration yung Supreme Court sa decision nila 2020, no? So kailan po nag-take effect yung interpretation ng Supreme Court na yun? Noong year 2000. Kasi that provision, as of the year 2000, ay, that provision should always been like this. Yun. From the year 2000, nung ditong effectivity niya, up to the year 2020. Wala po dapat pagbabago. Yan po ibig sabihin nun. In construing the law, the court merely declares what a particular provision has always meant, even way back 2000. Kahit ngayon 2020 lang nagkaroon ng declaration kung ano mo talaga ibig sabihin yan. Di ba? Kasi sa ganyan, nagkaaroon kasi ng ano eh. Di ba nagkaaroon ng dalawang interpretations normally, kaya nagkaaroon ng petitioners. To. Okay, so we get the point. Ano po example natin dito? In Republic versus Manalo, 2018 case po ito, no? The court ruled that a foreign divorce decree obtained abroad can be recognized in the Philippines even though the divorce proceeding was initiated by the Filipino spouse. Kasi baka ang pag-iisip dati, dapat po, pag nagkaroon ng divorce decree abroad, dapat ang magpa-file ng kaso alien. We will tackle this later on sa Article 26 of the Family Code. Pero sabi po ng Manalo case, no, kahit yung Filipino spouse ang mag-initiate ng divorce proceeding, ah parang makarecognize pa rin yung foreign divorce decree na yun sa Philippines. This was ruled, no? Ang ruling po na to na promulgate ng Supreme Court year 2018. Eh kailan ba ano, no? Matagal lang nagkaroon ng family code, di ba? At saka Article 26 nung nagkaroon ng amendment niyan. Tagal na. So, ayan po ang sabi. Does this ruling apply to divorce decrees that were obtained prior to the promulgation of the decision? Yes. Because the court merely declared what a particular provision, what Article 26, yun. of the Family Code has always meant as amended, 'di ba? I hope you get the point there. Mandatory or prohibitory laws remove, no? Waiver of rights, madalang to, no? Ang waiver of rights, kung gagamitin niyo po yan sa bar exam, yan po lagi, ano yan, pag ginamit niyo yung may valid ba o invalid waiver of rights, kung ngayon ang tanong ko sa inyo, lagi po yung merong combination na special law, special provision of the law, no? Huwag na pala tayo sabing special, specific provision of the law. Kasi sabi po dyan sa Article 6 of the Civil Code, di ba? Hindi valid ang waiver if it is contrary to law, morals, public policy, so on. Okay? So ano po ba yung law na tinatakil natin? Kaya po magkakaroon ng combination. Una mo sasabihin, invalid ang waiver of law, invalid ang waiver of rights, in waiver of law. Invalid ang waiver of rights if it is contrary to law. Sabihin natin. Further, under the blah blah blah, babanggitin mo na kung ano yung law. Pwedeng family code, pwedeng civil code, pwedeng corporation code, whatever that may be. Okay? Revised Corporation Code, pwede, whatever it may be. Pero ganun po ang tackle dyan. So, tatanungin tayo sa bar exam, was there a valid waiver of rights? O, sasabihin mo yung Article 6. On top of that, sasabihin mo rin yung law that, yung law na hindi consistent do sa waiver of rights na nakalagay do sa facts. Okay? Not contrary to yan, to LMGPP na yan. To example, bigyan ko yan example. Ito, favorite ko example to. Ilang beses ko na itong dinidiscuss. No? Numerous numerous discussions na tong bar question na to kasi gustong-gusto ko talaga siya. Mabuhay Elementary School organized a field trip for its grade 6 students in Fort Santiago, Manila Zoo, and Star City. So, to be able to join, the parents of the student had to sign a piece of paper that reads as follows. I allow my child, no, to join the school field trip, and I will not file any claim against the school administrator and teacher in case something happens to my child during the trip. So sabihin natin, nasaktan yung bata. O ngayon, ihahabla siyempre nung magulang, nung estudyante, yung eskwelahan. Sabi ng eskwelahan, hindi ka na pwede mag-file kasi nga nag-waive ka na ng rights mo as the parent. Tama po ba yung contention ng school o hindi? Mali po yung contention ng school. Was there a valid waiver of right to sue the school? Why? No, there was an invalid waiver of right to sue the school. Why? Kasi it is contrary to law. What law are we talking about? The Family Code, di ba? Under the Family Code kasi nakalagay dyan, the school, the administrators, the teachers shall have special parental authority, di ba? Sa mga minor students that are under their supervision and control. This includes authorized activities outside the school premises. So, hindi pwede magkaroon ng waiver of right with respect dun sa liability ng school. Kasi that would directly contravene the family code. Kasi sabi sa family code, responsable mga eskwelahan. Ang eskwelahan, kapag nagtutour, nag-field trip ang mga bata kasi nga special parental authority kayo. Okay? I hope we get the point there, no? Ayan. Okay, so basahin na lang natin. I-upload naman natin itong reviewer na to. Okay. Delete na. May ganun pa ako doon. Okay? Here, the waiver form was contrary to the mentioned family code provision. Thus, there was an invalid waiver of rights as provided under the civil code tanggal natin as provided, since it clearly contradicted the law. Okay. Yeah. Next, conflict of laws, no? Dito, nako medyo kinakabahan din ako dito, baka lumabas eh. Kasi masyado nilang in-emphasize yung conflict of laws dito sa bar syllabus na to, no? Mahaba yung mga topics na kailangang itackle. Maraming mga kailangan topics na itackle. Like yun, forum non-convenience, doctrine of processual presumption. Yung processual presumption actually, remedial law yan dapat eh. Diba? Sa ano yun? Sa judicial notice yung tinatakil. Pero nakalagay po sa civil law. Other than that, nakalagay yung mga lex loci celebrationis and so on. So, baka po magtanong dito. Ang prediction ko dyan, kung matatanong man kayo, sa forum non-convenience. Why? Kasi yung pang forum non-convenience, may mga requisites. Ang sarap gawa ng tanong. Okay? At saka ito, madalas natatanong talaga, no? Especially sa mga OFW. Usually natatanong talaga yung forum non-convenience na yan. Kung di kayo matatanong yan sa labor, sa civil. Okay? Kasi ano talaga siya eh, mainit talagang topic yan. Di ba? POEA. Yan yung mga employment contract na na-process sa POEA, dyan normally kakaroon ng forum non-convenience. Okay, so what is forum non-convenience? Forum non-convenience means the forum is not convenient. So if the forum is not convenient, the Philippines can decline to try the case. So under the doctrine of forum non-convenience, a Philippine court in a conflict of laws case may assume jurisdiction if it chooses to do so as provided that the following requisites are met. So tandaan nyo, itong requisites na to very important. Okay? So kailan po nagkakaroon ng conflict of law, no, sa isang kaso? Sabihin natin yung defendant, sasabihin niya, hindi pwede mag-assume ng jurisdiction yung Philippines kasi yung trabaho nung tao nasa ibang bansa. Dapat sa ibang bansa po nag-file ng kaso. Mga ganun. Okay? Ganun ang mga style niyan. Okay? So ano yung mga requisites? The Philippine court, so pwede po mag-assume ang Philippine court dito, no, pag nag-comply sa lahat ng mga requisites na ito. The Philippine court is one to which the party may conveniently resort to. The Philippine court is in a position to make an intelligent decision as to the law and the facts of the case. And lastly, the Philippine court is likely to have power to enforce the decision. Okay. So, bago natin i-apply yung tatlong requisites na to, pag-ibahin muna po natin yung forum non-convenience at saka choice of law. Kasi nagkakalituhan po dyan normally. Ano ba ba yung choice of law? Ano ba ba yung forum non-convenience? Tandaan natin, ang forum non-convenience, forum, we're talking about the court. Saan ka pwede mag-file? Na court. Pag sinabi mo choice of law, we're talking about the law. Basically, ang forum non-convenience, yan po, about na yan sa saan ka magpa-file. Ang choice of law, ano po yung mag apply na law between the parties. Okay, so yan. Forum non-convenience is about the court that will assume jurisdiction over the dispute. Choice of law is about the law that will govern the relationship of the parties. Okay? So yung forum non-convenience, yung court na yan, mag-a-assume po ng jurisdiction ng Philippines kung makapag-comply dito sa requisites na to. Okay? Ano man ang nakasulat sa kontrata ng parties? Ano man ang nakasulat? Makakapag-assume po ng jurisdiction ng Philippines kapag nag-comply sa lahat ng requisites na ito. Pero yung po choice of law, ayan, pwedeng magkaroon ng agreement yung parties dyan. No? The parties agreed that the law that will the parties have agreed that the governing law of their relationship is USA law, California law, Saudi Arabian law, Canadian law, Australian law, whatever it may be, pwede yun. Kasi autonomy nila yan, di ba? Freedom to contract, autonomy of contracts. Pero yung forum non-convenience, yan ang kailangan tingnan. Yung ano na yan, yung court that will assume jurisdiction. Tingnan natin yung tatlong requisites na to. Okay? Thus, the Philippine courts can assume jurisdiction over dispute because it is convenient to do so for the parties. But the governing law between the parties is a foreign law because that was their choice as stated in their contract. Okay, so pwede pong sa Philippines ang ano jurisdiction pero ang law gagamitin German law, Australian law, California law, and so on. Example tayo. Actually ito medyo ano to, inspired to nung kaso nung Saudiya versus Rebesenso, labor law case na pwede ring itakal sa civil code, no. Nung time ko sa law school ano siya, overlap. Ina-assign yung Saudiya case na yan sa labor law, inassign din sa civil code, civil law sa amin, no? Okay, so a Filipino flight attendant was hired by a inspired to, hindi ito yung kaso. Ginawa ko na lang sa sarili ko para masimple, no? A Filipino flight attendant was hired by a foreign airline company. The foreign airline company has an office in Metro Manila. The employment contract was processed through POEA and it stated the following terms. Number one, the governing law between the parties is a foreign law. And the marriage of the employee is a ground for termination of employment. No, kasi may mga bansa na ayaw nila na kasal yung sa kanilang empleyado, no? So, ginawa nilang ground yun to terminate the employment. Or later, the flight attendant was fired because she married someone in the Philippines. So, ang tanong, can the Philippine courts assume jurisdiction over the dispute? yan pa muna tayo. Pag sinabi sa inyo jurisdiction, punta kayo sa forum non-convenience. Kasi probably, yan ang itatanong sa inyo pag conflict of law kasi yun yung nakasulat sa pinaka-bar syllabus. Okay, so firstly, the flight attendant can conveniently resort to the Philippine courts since she is a Filipino and she married someone in the Philippines. O, di, pag pakasal ka rito, malamang andito yung dito ka talaga nakapwesto. Pilipino ka pa. So, the Filipino court is one to which the parties may conveniently resort to. Pasok tayo sa first requisite. Next requisite, the Philippine court is in a position to make an intelligent decision as to the law and the facts. Dito po sa question natin, can the Philippines make an intelligent decision? Aba, yes din. Bakit? Eh, POEA nga ang nag-process ng employment contract eh. Eh di ba? Public document agad yan, yung pinakontrata pa lang. Kayang-kaya agad kunin sa POEA. O so yung facts, alam agad natin. Alam natin kung ano yung nakasulat sa kanilang kontrata. Di ba? It is an agency of the Philippines. O lastly, the Philippine court is likely to have the power to enforce its decision. Yes din, tama din dyan. Bakit? Ang nakasulat sa facts, oh. The foreign airline company has an office in Metro Manila. Oh, eh kayang-kaya natin i-enforce yung decision natin. Eh di doon ka magpapadala ng execution kung ano man ang kailangan mo i-execute doon sa opisina nila. Nung ngay attorney, paano pag walang opisina sa Maynila? Hindi talaga nagla-landing yung airline company sa Philippines. Wala silang landing rights, wala talaga. Wala silang opisina rito, kahit anong negosyo, wala silang ginagawa dito. Eh baka hindi mag-aso ng jurisdiction. Kasi naman ito, discretion naman ng court yan eh. May decline to try the case. Pero pwedeng sabihin natin na hindi makakapag-assume ng jurisdiction ng Philippines dyan. Kasi sa third requisite po tayo wala. Walang landing rights yung airline company, walang negosyo dito, hindi nagbebenta ng ticket, walang agent, wala talaga silang visibility sa Philippines. Pero nakapag-hire sila ng OFW, nakakuha sila abroad. To abroad, mag-a-assume ba ng jurisdiction ng Philippines? Probably not. Kasi the third requisite is absent. Kahit na nagsapuwaya po nag-process ng dokumento, kahit na Pilipino yung flight attendant, aba, di ba? We don't have the power to enforce the decision. Paano naman tayo mag-enforce ng decision sa ibang bansa? Di ba? Pero pag may opisina sa Pilipinas, kayang-kaya natin mag-enforce ng decision na yan. Di ba? Makakakuha tayo ng dapat kunin dun sa office nila. Okay? We're good there. What law will govern the parties naman? Eh, di nakalagay po sa kanilang kontrata. Ayan o, the governing law between the parties is a foreign law. O di what will be the governing law between them? The foreign law as stated. O ngayon, if sinabi yung foreign law ang mag-govern, kailangan yung party, yung airline, it must allege and prove the foreign law. Patunayan mo kung ano yung foreign law na yun. Why? Ayan. What if the foreign airline company failed to prove the foreign law? What law will govern? This is where judicial notice of foreign laws and the doctrine of processual presumption will come in. So, ang ganda nung pasok natin. That's how we will move to the next topic. Judicial notice of foreign laws and doctrine of processual presumption. So, tandaan po natin yung example, no? Sa example, ang choice of law daw nila o foreign law. O, pwede naman yun, valid, di ba? Walang problema ron. Pero paano pag di napatunayan yung foreign law na yun? Ayan. Sabi po, basic sa rules on evidence natin that the Philippine courts do not take judicial notice of foreign laws. Ibig sabihin, they must be alleged and proved. Hindi porket friend natin yung country na yun, alam na natin yung batas nila. No. Ang assumption dito, hindi natin alam. We know nothing except our own laws. So para kami ma-inform yung Philippine courts, for us to be informed, you need to prove it to us. Ipakita mo yung official publication ng law na yan. Something like that. Okay? Kunin mo sa embassy nung foreign country sa Pilipinas, sabihin natin. Ganun ang style. Paano pag di mo nagawa? Papasok na po yung doctrine of processual presumption. Tandaan nyo, ang doctrine of processual presumption po, it's just a byproduct of judicial notice. Hindi mo sabihin na the doctrine of processual presumption provides that the courts do not take judicial notice of foreign laws. Hindi po. No? Byproduct lang yung doctrine nung settled rule sa Philippines. Ang settled rule sa Philippines is Philippine courts do not take judicial notice of foreign laws. They must be alleged and proved. If they were not alleged, if they were not duly proven, the doctrine of processual presumption applies. What does the doctrine provide? No? If the foreign law was not duly proven, it shall be considered as the same as Philippine laws. Okay? Yun ang ibig sabihin yan. Basic. So pag hindi mo napatunayan kung ano ang foreign law, ang assumption natin, ang presumption natin, pareho yan sa Philippine law. So ano yung mga provisions nitong foreign law na to? Pareho sa provisions yan ng Philippine laws. Okay, so example natin, using the example in page 4. Ito yan. Ito, QC yan. What law will govern the parties? Using the example in page 4, and assuming that the foreign law was not proven by the foreign airline company, what law will govern the parties? Philippine labor law. Ano po ang sabi sa Philippine labor law? Marriage is not a valid ground to terminate employment. May mga just causes, may mga authorized causes lang po tayo to terminate employment such as redundancy, labor saving devices, di ba? Retrenchment, closure of business, gross and habitual neglect, abandonment, di ba? Yan ang mga just causes and authorized causes to terminate employment. Wala po ang marriage. Okay? That's why it is not a valid ground. So, illegally dismiss po yung flight attendant. Okay. Yan ang magiging ruling ng tribunals. Actually, hindi dapat Philippine courts. Noong tribunal sa Philippines. Kasi nga, ano yan, dadaan sa NLRC yan. Okay. Next tayo, Doctrine of Renvoi. No? Renvoi means referring back. Tandaan nyo, pag sinabing renvoi, ang mga gustong makita ng examiner, yung salitang international football. Okay, so dalawa ang kailangan nyo sabihin dyan. Referring back at saka international football. What does this mean? Di ba? Ang vague ng mga terms. Okay. So, sabi po dito, the recognition of the Renvoi theory implies that, ayan, ito, how does the doctrine of Renvoi apply? Okay. It applies when the Philippine courts is the forum of the case. Okay? And our law states that the issue must be referred to a foreign law. Example, family rights. Sabi po dyan, mag-a-apply national law nung tao. Oh. Eh yung tao, Amerikano. Sabi nung family law sa Amerika, ibalik mo sa Pilipinas. Get? Sabi ng Pilipinas, punta ka sa US. Sabi ng US, punta ka sa Pilipinas. Nagkaroon po ng international football, nagpapasahan tayo ng bola. Ayan yun. However, the foreign law has a conflict of law provision which states that the issue must be returned back or referred back to the Philippines. No? In short, wag pala in common terms, in short, there was international football. So ulitin natin, the Philippine courts ang forum of the case. Tandaan nyo, ang doctrine of Renwa, hindi mag-a-apply kung ang forum, ang court na nag-assume jurisdiction sa kaso, ibang bansa. Okay? Hindi pala. Mag-aaroon ng doctrine of Renwa, pero I'm just saying, hindi dapat ganun magiging tanong sa inyo sa bar. Kasi kung sa ibang bansa, ito pala yung gusto ko sabihin. Kasi ibang bansa, final yung kaso, ba't ka pa tinanong? Di ba? Hindi ka na magiging lawyer sa ibang bansa, dito ka magiging lawyer. So, ang magiging question sa inyo, kung doctrine of Renwa, sa Philippine courts po, final yung kaso. Yung pala ibig ko sabihin. It takes place when the Philippine courts is the forum of the case. And our law states that the issue must be referred to a foreign law. Okay? Tapos, yung foreign law, the foreign law states that it must be referred back to the Philippines. O na, the doctrine of Renwa applies. Okay? There was international football. Okay, so, in such case, ayan, kulang pala to. In such case, the Philippine the law of the Philippines will govern the relationship of the parties. Ito, so the issue can be finally determined. Ayan. Okay? So ito po yung concept. Ito po yung effect. Okay? The concept is, yan, no? Balikan ng law, balikan ng pasahan. Okay? This the effect. The laws of the Philippines will govern the relationship of the parties so the issue can be finally determined by the courts. Okay. So, yung case na to, ganun lang din, no? Sabi ng Philippines, kapag intestate succession, yung order of intestate succession or testamentary succession, ang mag-govern po dyan, national law of the decedent. Eh, decedent, Amerikano. O so, sabi ng Pilipinas, dali mo sa Amerika. O sabi naman ng American law, balik mo sa Pilipinas. Bakit daw? Kasi law of the domicile ang nag-govern sa California law. Pag may namatay na tao, ang mag-govern po na law sa kanya, yung law of the domicile. Okay? Sabi ng Philippines, law of the nationality. National law. O, ang sabi naman ng California, domiciliary law. O so, pinasa ng Pilipinas sa California, binalik naman ng California sa Philippines. Doctrine of Renbo yan. Okay? Under the Philippine laws, which law will govern? The U.S. law. Because the national law of Christensen must govern as provided under Article 16 of the Civil Code. Kasi nga, order of testamentary succession yan. Okay, o intrinsic validity ng succession. Okay. Ano naman ang sabi ng US law? Specifically, California law. Ang sabi dyan, governed by the law of his domicile. So, ibinalik na naman sa Philippines. Saan ba nakatira yung Amerikano bago siya namatay? Expat pala. No? Nakatira sa Philippines eh. Okay, a farm in the Philippines. So, babalik mo na naman sa Philippines. So, ngayon, ano effect? O, Philippine law na mag-govern with respect to with respect to the testamentary succession of the decedent. Kasi nga, para magkaroon ng capability of determination yan. Kasi pag, paano, wala na lang. Nagpasahan kayo, wala na lang, di na lang masasolve yung kaso. It has to be solved. So with that being said, gamitin natin yung law on succession, law on succession sa civil code. Okay? So the issue can be capable of determination. Okay? Recognition and enforcement of foreign judgment. Ito po, usual topic ito sa Article 26 din. So talagang, kung makikita nyo po, no, obviously, at this point, makikita nyo, napaka-important ng Article 26 na yan. Kasi wala pa tayo sa family kung nababanggit na siya. Okay? Like nabanggit siya dun sa retroactivity of laws. Diba? Nabanggit din siya dito sa recognition and enforcement of foreign judgment. Later on, natatakil natin siya sa Article 26. Yan, natanong yan ng barko. And if I'm not wrong, no? Kung di ako mali, pati nung next year, natanong ulit. Halos tinatanong niya every year talaga yung Article 26. Why? Kasi napaka-applicable. Gaano kadami ang nakita natin na Pilipino yung babae, Pilipino yung babae, tapos banyaga yung lalaki mag-asawa sila. Ang daming ganyan, even sa Philippines. No? Kaya mag-a-apply po. Kaya yung Article 26, very important. Kasi marami pong ganyan na Filipino. Hapon, Koreano, Amerikano, no? African, whatever. Whoever. Okay? Nag-a-apply po talaga. Kaya siya normally natatakil. We will tackle this further sa family code. Okay. Let's go to eto, conflict of laws na tayo. So, family rights, status, capacity of person. Ano pa yung mga normally natatakil dito? Ito, 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 at saka ito. Ito pong last na to, natatakil to normally sa revised penal code, sa criminal law. So, binanggit na lang natin dito kasi nasa civil code. Pero, this is a criminal law concept. So, hindi siya masyado sa civil law. Okay. So, penal law shall be obligatory upon all who live or sojourn in the Philippine territory. So kung i-convert po natin yung sinabi ng Article 14 sa Latin maxim, no? What what Latin maxim, no? What Latin maxim governs or what Latin maxim applies to penal laws of the Philippines? Lex loci delicti. Ano pa ibig sabihin niya? The law of the place of the commission of the crime. The law of the place of the commission of the delict. So ano po mag-a-apply sa mga nasa Pilipinas? Ano po ang mag-a-apply na penal law sa Philippines? Philippine penal laws. Okay? Wait. Ayun pala, ulitin natin. Kung mayroong isang Chinese citizen at isang Malaysian citizen, nagpatayan sila sa Maynila, ano po ang mag-a-apply na penal law between them? Yun. Sabi po sa Article 14, Philippine penal laws. Kasi penal law shall be obligatory upon all who live or sojourn in the Philippine territory. Sa Latin term naman tayo, sabi rito, law of the place of the commission of the crime. So ano po ang nag-apply na law? Kay Malaysian citizen sa kay Chinese citizen. Kung saan kinumit yung crime. Saan ba kinumit yung crime? Philippines. Lex loci delicti. Something like that. Okay? Yun po, doon hinugot yan. Pero don't overcomplicate it. This is a criminal law concept. Okay, next tayo, family rights status capacity of persons, lex nationali. Family rights, right to support a child, right to support a child na lang muna. O yan. Saka yung validity of divorce. Yan. Requisites of marriage, formal requisites of marriage. Yan. Same-sex marriage. Validity ng same-sex marriage. Lahat ng mga yan, lex nationali. Lex nationali, no? Philippine laws regarding family rights, statutes, capacity of persons, no? Philippine laws regarding family rights, status, capacity of persons are binding upon Filipino citizens even though they are living abroad. Kahit na OFW sila, mag-apply po ang family code. Okay? Lex nationality po ang pinaghuhugutan yan. Law of the nationality. O same din po dito, no? Intestate, testate succession, yung intrinsic validity of testamentary provision. Ano po yan? Like yung meron bang preteration? Meron bang omission of compulsory heir in the direct line? Magkano ba ang hati dun sa asawa? Magkano sa illegitimate child? And so on. No? Lex nationali. The national law of the decedent. Okay? Paano naman yung extrinsic validity of will? So ano pa extrinsic validity? Kapag holographic will, entirely handwritten, signed, dated ba yan? Kapag notarial will, may attestation clause ba o wala? Mga ganyan. Okay? Lex loci celebrationis yan. Law of the country in which the contract, the will, the public instrument was executed. Sabihin po natin, Pilipino nag-execute ng last will and testament, notarial will sa ibang bansa. O sabi po sa law ng ibang bansa, hindi kailangan ng attestation clause para maging valid yung will. Okay, notaryo lang, pwede na. Okay. Magiging po ba siyang valid sa Philippines? Yes. No? Kasi with respect to the extrinsic yung panglabas na anyo, yung formalities ng wills, no? Hindi naman po Philippine law sa mag-govern. Sa Philippine law kasi kailangan may attestation clause. Sa ibang bansa hindi kailangan. Valid 'yun. Okay? Kasi it was in accordance with the law in which where it was executed. Okay? Pero ang intrinsic validity, kung ano talaga yung nationality ng tao, yun ang mag-govern. Kahit nasa US ka nag-execute, ng last will and testament mo, hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin yung anak mo sa mana unless may disinheritance. Something like that. Kasi pag tinanggal mo yung anak mo, preteration yan. Pag nag-preteration ka or omission of a compulsory heir in the direct claim, annulled yung institution of heirs. So basically, intestate na yan. Di ba? Mag-i-intestacy ka na. Kasi annulled na nga yung institution of heirs. Para saan pa yung mga nakasulat sa last will. Something like that. Okay? Ito pa yung mga other, no? Kinuha ko lang sa Oxford Dictionary. Yung ibang mga nakalagay sa syllabus nyo kasi hindi pwedeng din natin ma-cover lahat. Baka kasi tanungin kayo, no? Baka di natin alam paano magtanong yung bar chair, yung bar examiner. Baka magkaroon ng definition of terms. So, explain the concept of whatever. Ayan, at least nilagay natin lahat para wala tayong hindi na-cover. Okay? Persons na tayo. No?